So welcome to day 2 of Suburban Action Week. I'm Maggie Sherwinski from the Active Transportation Alliance. I'm an advocacy manager here, and helping today is Crispino Heda Simmons. She's our planning project manager at Active Trans, so we'll be helping with the Q&A at the end of the session. So during the session, if you have any questions at all during the Will County update, please use the chat and we'll get to those at the end, but I want to introduce our 2 speakers today. We've got Cori Crawford, the planning coordinator from the Will County Forest Preserve, and we have Elaine Bottomley, the director of transportation from the Will County Governmental League. And again, please mute yourself and we'll get started. I'll pass it along to Cori.
Good morning, everybody. It's kind of nice that we're doing a video today because most of us are snowed in. So a nice way to start off our day. So we will get started here talking about Will County and the bikeways in Will County. Again, I'm Cori Crawford and I'm the Planning and GIS Coordinator with the Forest Preserve District of Will County. I've been with the Forest Preserve for 16 years, and essentially part of my role is to help with the bikeway planning efforts in Will County and with the Forest Preserve. I lead the Will County Bikeway Committee, and that is a group of municipal entities, county entities, to help move the regional bikeway planning efforts forward. So, Elaine?
Yes, of course. I'd love to introduce myself. So my name is Elaine Bottomley. I am the Director of Transportation for the Will County Governmental League. I've been with the Governmental League for a little bit over 5 years now. Primarily, we work with all the municipalities in Will County and a few in Grundy. We are the Council of Governments, so that means that we do anything and everything to help out our municipalities, as well as help distributing some funding. So I'm going to kick us off with a great slide about our Surface Transportation Program Local. So this is known as STPL. This is a funding source that's available to all municipalities within the CMAP region. Again, I said Will County Governmental League is the Council of Governments for Will County. If you are in DuPage or Lake, King, Kendall, Cook, you have a different council of governments to access these funds through. So this is where Will County municipalities access their STPL funds through. So we have our call for projects in even years. We have maximum amount of funds for a single project, sitting around about $4.8 million. We only fund phase 2 and construction engineering, and we fund that at an 80-20 split. I have a little picture here of our front page of our methodology. It is a lovely 60+ page document that really goes in depth about what are eligible routes, what projects are available to be funded, as well as how projects are scored. So we did just have our first call for projects with an updated methodology 2020, so last year. So we're implementing our new program now. So next slide. One of the things that happened in our updated methodology is we included a greater number of points for complete streets. In the past, I think our methodology only included 5 points for complete streets, and now moving forward, we have 15. I will admit that they're a little bit of soft points, so we've divided it up where if you have a complete streets policy, you can go ahead and receive 5 points in this category. And then if your project includes any type of complete streets elements, you'll get 10 additional points. So next slide. Within our 2020 call for projects, we really did see an increase in municipalities in Will County that had adopted complete streets policies. In total, we had 19 municipalities apply for funds last year, and 13 of those had policies, so about 68%. And then our municipalities that did not have a complete streets policy realized, oh man, I'm missing on extra points. My application could have been more competitive if I just had a complete streets policy. So I've had many municipalities since our call for projects reach out to me and ask me, what are the steps to go ahead and adopt complete streets policy? What do I need to look at? What do I need to look for? So I've gone ahead and I've referred them to CMAP. CMAP has some great resources for adopting complete streets policies and a wide variety of examples. Additionally, we had 27 out of 29 of our new project applications include bike ped components, which is great. So a majority of our projects included these, 76%. And one of the biggest things in the history of the Will County Governmental League and our call for projects, we have never received an application purely for a bicycle project. And we received our first one this year, which was exciting. Unfortunately, didn't score that great, so we weren't able to fund it at this point in time. But it definitely shows that there's a changing tide in Will County and people are interested in possibly funding bikeway projects through Surface Transportation Program funds. So from that call for projects, we went ahead and made an active program. Here's just kind of a quick screenshot. It's 2021 to 2025. You can see kind of a wide variety of projects we funded, with a couple every single year. So within our call for projects, we have our active program. And if we go to the next slide, we have our contingency program. So this is if anything in the active program slides off, has any delays, or if projects come in under bid, we have the opportunity to move contingency projects into our active program and fund even more projects in Will County. So we go to our next slide, you can see just a kind of a quick map to see a wide variety of the projects that we are funding across the county. You can see we're not really focused in just one area. Our projects that are in this light green color, those are our active program projects, and the projects in the yellow are our contingency projects. So in the event, again, that something falls off or there's extra funding available, we can move additional projects in. So some quick project examples. I'm really excited about all the examples to share with you today. 135th Street in Romeoville is super exciting. We are converting a 4-lane roadway into a complete street, including a 3-lane section with protected left turn lanes, bike lanes, wayfinding, pedestrian improvements. It's a great project. It's really great to have a road diet project within our active program. For this project, we have our E2 funding in 2022 and goal of construction in 2023. Our next project example is Will Road reconstruction in Diamond. So a little bit more rural, really on the edge of Will County here. So this is fundamentally a truck route reconstruction. A lot of focus on the roadway here, but a big component of this project that does include complete streets elements is they're going to end up covering a culvert that's on the east side of the roadway and putting a bike path on top of it, which is great. So for this project, we have funding for E2 in 2024. And then with that, I wanted to showcase our first bike path project that we've ever received. So this project is on the contingency list, so we do not have funding available for it at this time. But this is a proposed project that is replacing an existing 5-foot wide sidewalk with a 10-foot wide concrete path and restoring landscaping. Again, this project is in our contingency program, but in the event that additional funding becomes available, we have the opportunity to move this in and might even be able to fund our first bike path within STPL funding in Will County.
Thanks, Elaine. That was great. So I'm going to share with you some of the forest preserve projects. So the first project is the Black Road Bridge Trail Connection. It looks like a small section. However, it connects the 2 regional trail systems, the DuPage River Trail to the Run Greenway Trail. It's a 5-span bridge over the DuPage River and I-55. Currently, the bridge portion over the river is in place, and the rest of the construction of the bridge is completed, will be completed in the middle of this year. This is in eastern Will County near Crete. This is the Plum Creek Greenway Trail System. So currently there are 2 sections of the trail system in place. Down at Goodnow Grove Nature Preserve, there's a 3-mile trail system, and then at Plum Valley Preserve, there is a mile trail system that we are looking to connect together. We did apply for some funding through an ITEP grant program, and we're not sure how we will score, so we are looking at some additional funding sources for the construction. We're currently engineering this project. The Run Greenway Trail, there is a small section of this regional trail that has a gap. It's along Essington Road from Ingalls in Joliet to the Theodore Marsh Preserve. We did apply for ITEP grant to close this gap. Currently, the city of Joliet is reconstructing a bridge over the Run Creek. And this bridge does include bicycle accommodations on the east and then pedestrian accommodations on the west. So we're hoping to close that gap and with that ITEP grant. Another bridge reconstruction project in Joliet. This is very close to the last one. So this is Theodore Street in Essington. Currently, there is a sidewalk that connects you to this regional trail system, and there's some flooding that happens in this area. Joliet is reconstructing the bridge, including the bicycle accommodations. So the Forest Preserve is working with the city, and we've allocated some funds to fix the flooding issues and also close this gap with an actual bicycle trail. Another project going on, this is near the city, in between the city of Naperville and the village of Bolingbrook. We're looking at connecting, this is the DuPage River Trail, and we'd like to, the city of Naperville and Bolingbrook reached out to the Forest Preserve. They're really hoping to get the residents from Naperville and even Bolingbrook to this commercial area located here at the corner. So we're looking at a trail connection. We've completed a feasibility study to take the trail south and then loop it back around to the existing trail, and then also stub out to connect folks to this commercial area right here. Like I said, we completed the feasibility study and we're exploring options to actually move the project forward. So Normantown Trail, this is in the very northwest corner of Will County, and this is a project that the Forest Preserve has been working on for a number of years, converting an old road. So Normantown Road has been reconstructed into a typical asphalt bicycle trail. This is Vermont Cemetery Preserve, all the way south to 109th Street. 19th Street is now complete, and currently Plainfield Park District is in the process of engineering the section from 119th Street to 127th to continue that regional trail system. Veterans Memorial Trail, the Forest Preserve received a TAP grant to construct this section of the Veterans Memorial Trail from the 159th Street Bikeway, which is in place. This is Homer Glen, south to the Spring Creek Greenway Trail in the village of New Lenox. And the construction for this project is anticipated to begin late this year or early next year. The last trail project that I'm going to talk about today is a connection over the I&M Canal State Trail to our Lake Chaminwood Preserve. This is at 55 and Canal Road in the Chaminwood Manuka area. There are really no connections over the I&M Canal State Trail for a long distance. So this will be a nice connection to get folks from one side to the other. And we are currently engineering the project, and we anticipate the construction to be a few years out. So for this portion of the presentation, we were hoping to do a little discussion on what things you can do. So the first area is, where can you find more information? You're always more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to look into who you need to talk to, or maybe if you just needed an update on a project that we talked about today, I'd be happy to get that information for you. Also, Will County DOT has on their website, they do list out the highway, under the highway systems and construction projects, they have a map and then details of each of the projects that are on there. And then also, we'll probably mention this again too, just be on the lookout for public meetings, throughout Will County, getting that information early so you know what transportation projects are coming. And then the last one, Elaine, did you want to talk about this one a little bit, this last point?
Yeah, absolutely. So, part of being the Council of Governments and acting as a planning liaison for Will County, we manage the online database of projects within Will County. So that's the TIP. So there is a public facing portion of the eTIP. So that's available at etip.cmap.illinois.gov. So this is really a nice interactive website that I don't think that a lot of people really know about. So you can go to this website and you'll be able to see the projects that are programmed for the next 5-6 years or in out years. So everything is mapped. So you can go ahead, it's an interactive format. You can sort by funding sources. You can see, oh, does someone have CMAQ funding? Does someone have ITEP funding? Or you can zoom into your neighborhood and see what kind of projects are going to be impacting your commutes in the future. You know, does a project have bike ped components? So you can even click in and go to an individual project and kind of see a project description. You can see what's being added, if there's going to be bike ped components, if there's going to be new street lights, if there's going to be a side path. So it's really an informative process, which is great. I highly recommend people go check it out.
Cool, thanks. So when should advocates get involved to help shape a county road project? I can't stress this enough. You need to get in on the process as early as possible. Again, just be on the lookout for those public meetings, and also reaching out to your local municipality as roadway projects come up for the county. They do follow their 2040 transportation plan, which does include the Will County bikeway plan as well. And they've identified several corridors that would potentially include bicycle accommodations. So what will happen is, if they initiate a project, for an example, Laraway Road in Will County, they initiate an engineering project, they're going to go to their local municipality. So like, Joliet, Frankfort, New Lenox, and work with their planners to see, okay, is the village or are these towns interested in participating in the development of a trail bicycle accommodation along with this project. So reaching out to your municipalities and letting them know how critical it is, to make these connections when the roadway project happens. So that way they don't have to go back and spend more dollars to retrofit a project later after the fact. And then Elaine, did you want to take the last one?
I would love to take the last one. So overall advice for people who are looking to improve walking and biking conditions in their community. I think Cori really hit the nail on the head that a lot of the projects that we see and the forms that they're going to take is really established early on. So in your phase 1 engineering, your phase 2. So the best thing that you can do is try to get involved as early as possible. And the biggest thing that you could probably do is figure out, does your municipality or does your hometown have a complete streets policy? Because that's a great place to start. Maybe they haven't even thought about it and they're waiting for a resident to hear, oh, I'm also interested in this. I would love to see complete streets in my neighborhood. And other than that, just, my own personal experiences and personal musings that I've had is, I think during the pandemic, we've seen a increase of usage of trails, of people out and about walking, biking, which is great. And municipalities are noticing that. From my presentation and from what I shared, it's apparent that municipalities in Will County are starting to look at complete streets and adopting policies. So I think the tides are really turning in Will County and people are seeing that need. And I think within the pandemic and increased usage, people are starting to see that there are gaps in our trail networks and our connectivity. So I think moving forward, pandemic's been rough. It's been a hard year. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, but I think that there's going to be some good that comes out of this, especially within investing within complete streets and bike ped infrastructure. So
awesome. So thank you from both of us. If there are any questions, we're more than happy to answer them for you. And also, we just put our contact information on here. Feel free to, take a picture with your phone, or if Maggie wanted to pass that along too, that's fine by us. So thank you again, and we're welcome to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Cori and Elaine. It was great to hear about all of the projects going on in Will County. There are so many, and I'm sure you guys have your hands full. And it's also interesting to see there were so many different funding sources that you were trying to tap into, and then almost having backup funding resources so that you make sure things move forward. So it's great to see. Crispina, do you want to start with the Q&A?
Sure. And just as a reminder, if you have questions, please enter them into the chat and we'll read them out for you. The first question is from Dave Simmons. Question for Cori. Historically, the Will County DOT has been resistant to adding wider shoulders to better accommodate cyclists. Is the DOT becoming more supportive? How can advocates help make the point that bike infrastructure is a wise investment for the residents of Will County?
Yeah, it's hard to speak for exactly for that specific example of widening the shoulders. Thankfully, we do have the bikeway plan adopted within that transportation document, the 2040 Wilco Connects. And at least it's a starting point for us in terms of, you know, they have identified, or we have identified, you know, these regional corridors. And when, you know, roadway projects come up and they're resurfacing or they're reconstructing, it's our opportunity to kind of get in there and make sure that they are making those considerations for projects like that. So I really don't have a specific answer. I don't know if Elaine, you could touch on that one, or if you have any more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all on a case-by-case example. As a cyclist and someone who rides on the road, I would love to see wider shoulders, but I think realistically it comes down to a case-by-case and project-by-project example. I think we all know that funding roadway projects is expensive, and anytime you factor in accumulating right-of-way and trying to get that, it's possible project delays. So this is an unsatisfying answer. I'm sorry, but I think a lot of it comes down to, well, maybe I'm not going to go ahead and put in a wider shoulder for bike ped accommodation just because now I'm going to have to get 5 feet of additional right of way, and that's going to delay my project 5 more years. And, you know, my roadway is falling apart. It's being used as a truck route. We need to fix this now, which isn't a good answer. And I'm sorry.
No, hey, Elaine,
I'm
this is
unsatisfied
Dave.
by it as well. So
I'll just add, we've talked with, it's a fine answer. I didn't mean to pressure you on your first question, but we've also talked with IDOT, Ride Illinois, that is, about reducing travel lanes by 1 foot in order to buy, you know, a little extra space. So not necessarily increasing the overall width of the roadway, but just kind of almost like, you know, a road diet, right? You look at how you can best use the available. So yeah, definitely not suggesting having to purchase right away and widening all the roadways, but just, you know, look at that as an opportunity when those reconstruction projects come up. But
yeah, you're absolutely right.
Sure. Thanks, Dave.
All right, another question from Frank asks, does Will County have an email list for subscribers to obtain information on upcoming public meetings or solicitations for input from the public on projects?
The forest preserve, I would have to check, but essentially our projects, the information is always on our website and our Facebook page. I could definitely take your email and see if I can add you to the public. I could give that to the public, the marketing department, to see if they get you on our newsletter. I'm not sure for Will County DOT if they have anything like that where it would be like a blasted out information. Do you know, Elaine, if they have anything like that?
You know, I'm not sure if there's like one set list for every single project. I know that as projects have come up, it'll be, oh, sign up for more information. So I've always done that whenever I see the opportunity to sign up for an email list, but I don't think that the county has a collective one list they send out to everyone. One of the best resources that I've found is just any type of social media. So any of the county Facebook pages, any of the county Twitters, things like that. You know, they want public engagement. They want to hear what's going on. They want to hear what the community thinks about these projects to help shape them. So, I mean, honestly, take aside my position as Director of Transportation for the Governmental League, I've learned about projects first on Facebook before I have like from an actual work email sometimes, which is interesting.
I agree.
And we have a question from Ralph Fanasiak. Are there bike clubs in Will County that work with the forest preserves, offering suggestions or recreation?
Yes, there are bicycle groups that we do work with. Joliet has a bicycle club, and we've worked with them historically. If there's issues that come up, or if they needed us to come and present and things like that, for sure, we do have a working relationship, and open to more working relationships with the local bicycle clubs.
Could you tell us a little bit more also about the Will County Bike Plan and when that was developed and how you use that?
Sure, for sure, Maggie. So back in 2017, the Will County Bikeway Plan was formally adopted. So the Forest Preserve historically has been a facilitator of regional bikeway planning. The county currently does not have a designated entity or a bikeway coordinator within the transportation division of transportation. So the Forest Preserve has kind of filled in that role. So the bikeway plan was developed at a time when we wanted to make sure that for those reconstruction projects, that opportunity could at least be there for the municipalities to step in and have the bikeway, along with that roadway construction project. So back in 2016, the Will County DOT was updating their major transportation plan. And for the first time ever, they added a bicycle and pedestrian component as part of that transportation plan, which is the Will County Bikeway Plan. If anyone's interested in seeing a copy of the plan, it's available on the Forest Preserve's website. And I can also send a direct link to Maggie and she can forward that along. So essentially it is our guiding regional plan of corridors. So if you think about like an interstate system, it's these major areas, these major roadways, major bikeways throughout Will County that the local municipalities can then tie into. So that way we have a cohesive regional plan.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that is all we have of questions from people, but thank you both so much for all of the great information you shared today, and appreciate you both taking the time. So thank you, and thank you to everyone who joined today.